So over the weekend, I had a client with me who has made some huge improvements with their driving over the last year or so, but still was a little bit frustrated with his game. So when he came to see me, and he's been working with me for more than a year, but he'd set up very traditionally, everything looked really good, and when he made the swing, we just saw a massive shot curving out to the right. And we see there, path 12 degrees out to in, club face nearly 15 degrees open. So we'd said the first thing we need to fix is where that club face is at impact. I know lots of golfers talk about improving path, but if I swing from the inside with that club face 15 degrees open, I might not actually make contact with the screen in here. So what we'd seen is he built a little bit into setup, about closing the stance, aligning a little bit to the right. And then when he was making the swing at the moment, we'd see a ball that had set off left, curve left, and we could see that club face was now starting to become closed at impact, but the path was still out to win. Now, we'd spoken about, obviously in theory, he could just shuffle more and more round, but not necessarily going to help him. But we did notice, even with being a little bit closed, what he was starting to do is he was getting those feet closed, but still kind of getting his shoulders left. So as good as it might have looked from a foot line, the shoulders were definitely creating a little bit of that. So remember, as you work in from the club head, the shoulders are much closer to the club than the feet, going club, hands, arms, shoulders. So they're always going to be more of an influence. So even though we got everything kind of aligned correctly, we still saw that out to win feel. So he's been doing some practice on TrackMan over the winter, and he said it was getting very frustrating that path of a negative path, it almost seemed that whatever he did in the start of his downswing, whether it's dropping the arms, feel like he moved towards a target, he said, I've watched all the videos, he just wasn't able to do it. So what we did is we said, right, let's try and simplify. So if your golf swing is a big circle, most golfers presume that as they set up to the golf ball there, that their circle will be pretty straight through the bottom. But I said, for him, what we're seeing is, even though we might be aiming this way, the circle's still to the left. So all I want you to try and do is draw that circle almost as far to the right as you can. And I don't want you to worry how you're doing it, I just want you to think about drawing that circle over to the right-hand side. So we got rid of the hoop. We had a couple of practice swings first. And instantly, visually, it was very, very different. So I said, I'm not worried where this one goes to begin with, because I don't care about the result on this. I want to see if you can draw that circle as far to the right as you can, even allowing the setup to help you a little bit. And let's just see what shot we got. So we got him a little to the right, really focus on drawing that circle to the right. And the first thing we noticed was a much bigger number to the right-hand side than we'd ever seen. So 7.8 degrees from the inside on that one. Now club face is showing open, but that's more the curve on the face. That was a bit out the toe. And we actually saw with him initially, got a couple at even 10, 11 degrees out to the right, which was hugely different. And I said, what's great there is the more you're swinging that way, now you've got the control on that club face. Notice how we're not actually missing over to the right-hand side. We're still seeing curve. So he stood up again, a couple of practice swings, got there as far to the right as we can. And we actually started to see the ball curving a huge amount right to left, but still very, very playable. Now, he did then make the comment, which I loved, that almost felt too exaggerated to take to the golf course, which I don't mind. So we said, in practice, though, we want to exaggerate that feeling to keep that going. And his next question was kind of a strange one, but I kind of got it. He said, why does just thinking of the whole circle drawing over to the right change so much? And I said, well, if you think about it, if you draw a circle in the air with your finger, it'd be one continuous flowing movement. You wouldn't go piece by piece. It might still look round, but it wouldn't be as good. So I said, what we want you to feel is some way, particularly visually for him, of imagine how we're drawing that circle. So I said, imagine you've got a kind of spray paint on the bottom of your driver. As you swing through impact at the moment, how would it spray the paint on the ground? And he went, well, it would definitely be that way. So the line would be that way on the ground. So I said, that's great. So now we want the line to be that way on the ground, but we're going to set up a little bit more square and then really focus on spraying that paint over to the right. Again, right out the toe, which is making that shape a little bit more, but we suddenly saw just a very slight bit from the inside. And I'll be honest, he did strike it a little bit nearer the middle. But what is great with the new drivers, even though I've nearly missed that out the toe, still gone a decent distance. So he said, do you know what, that feels really good. It says it feels like I can get back to being a little bit more square with my setup, which I quite like, but then really focus on just the direction of the circle in the downswing. And we started to see some very straight shots, even though the numbers were still a little bit from the inside and a tiny bit closed. And it was great because he kind of made the comment then that now I feel I can actually still aim at the fairway and have a feel that unless I do something dramatically wrong with the face, which he doesn't do too much now, he can just get in play every time. So we said once we can get that feel in the golf swing, he was probably taking a little bit of speed out to begin with. Could we start building a little bit of speed back in, even with that feel? And as he put a bit more speed in, we still saw great delivery. Now, I'm not saying he was that quick, but 1.8 from the inside. Again, slightly toey, so the reading is slightly open, but we can see from the curve there, absolutely what he'd be looking for. And it was amazing because we managed to really simplify the movement of delivering the club from the inside, hitting that little draw that he wanted. And we picked up not only accuracy, but yardage with driver. And any of you golfers who have sliced it and faded it in the past that feel it's a weak shot, rewatch this video, work through it, and I guarantee you will hit some of the best drives of your lives if you can deliver that club better through impact.